Hi guys and welcome. Today I'm going to be doing some of these mini journals, so we're covering them with material. I've got a bit of a project box which I'll show you of some already started, so I'll be working through those as well, but I want to make one like this one just to show you how I've beaded the spine. So it's just got coffee dyed paper in this one, and it's the size of an A5 piece folded in half. So I'll just pop that one off to the side. And we've got some A5 cardstock here, so I'm just going to fold it in half. So there's not a lot of measuring in this one. So you can use your scraps as well. I'll just bone score that down. Then we've got some coffee dyed paper. I've got 2 pieces that'll give you 4 pages, and I've just folded it in half, exactly the same as this one. Now I'm going to cut them just slightly smaller because I want them inside the cover, and I'm going to do it with some pinking shears. If you don't have these, they're like dressmaker's scissors, then just cut a straight edge, that's fine. These scissors are handy to have if you're making the faux stamps. I use them quite a fair bit, or just want decorative edge to your page. That one in, and then we'll put him, actually we'll put the pages off to the side. I'm going to stick the cover down. So with the cover, if you don't have any scrap material, then you can just use some cardstock, pattern cardstock, scrapbooking paper, and glue it to your cover. This here is a 300 GSM, so it's got a bit of body to it. And I've got a little piece of denim here that I'm going to use. So I'm just going to place the denim down flat, and then on the outside I'm going to use a little bit of fabric glue. So I'm using Helma fabric glue here. It will even just stick paper and paper. It's a really good glue. It does have a little bit of an odor to it, not overly strong, but I suggest that you work in an open area whenever you're using a glue or adhesive that has some fumes to it. So it's usually a bit of an indicator, you know, you'll be inhaling those fumes and you'll end up with a headache after it. So I'm just making sure I'm going right to the edge because I'm not folding this material over. I'm going to cut it to the edge. So we want to make sure that it's glued right down to the edge. And I'll just use my bone scorer just to get that even pressed down. Help spread the glue out. I haven't used a lot of glue either because these are small projects, so you don't need to use lots of glue. Now what I'm going to do, similar to this one, I'm just going to use the pinking shears around. If you don't have them, then you can either just cut straight to the card, or you can fold it over the same as we do cover our journals. Entirely up to you. By using the pinking shears, it actually stops a lot of the fraying, and you can also put some of that fray stop on. I don't have any, but I know that you can get it, or even clear nail varnish. I'd put it on the inside though, because you don't want it to darken the edges on the outside of your journal. So this method can be applied to bigger ones. So if you're making an actual journal, these are more little mini journals or notebooks. Then the same applies to whatever size cover that you're making. And now I want to put my pages in there, and I want to line them up so I've got an even border top and bottom. Just like that, and then I'm just going to use a bulldog clip either side just to hold it in place, because I'm going to be putting some holes through. So now I'm going to get my awl, or some people call it a pokey tool, and I'm going to go directly in the middle, and then roughly the middle, if not a little bit up to the top of that one. There's no real need to measure it, you can eyeball it. So if you see, it's fairly even. And we're doing what's called a 3-hole pamphlet stitch here. Then I've got some beading cord, or you can just use some waxed cotton. And for this one, because I'm using beads, I'm using a beading needle, and that's what they look like. They've got like a big eye that you put the cotton straight through. But you can use a very fine needle as long as you can get it through the hole in the bead, or get beads with a little bit bigger hole. So same as we do all our 3 pamphlet stitch journals, through the middle one, and we're going to keep that tail. And now on the outside, because we're going to feature our beads, we've got these beautiful amazonite beads. So I'm just going to pull over my beading mat, just so I don't have them running everywhere when I cut the cord. Okay, lovely. So I'm just going to get my needle, and I'm going to thread a few through. If it's a bit tight, you may need, because they're really flimsy, these needles, you may just need some pliers to help pull it through. And after you've got a couple of beads on there, I just do a rough measurement on your spine. So if we turn it over, your spine to where the hole is going, or where you think the hole's going to be. A simple trick is put your awl in there, out to the side there, and you know that roughly we've got enough beads on there. And because this needle's flimsy, I'll leave the awl there so I can see where to go back in. Here we go, and then we go back in. The same as we do when we're normally stitching. Then we go back through the middle, out the other side. If you're crafting along with me, then you can pause the video in each step. That does help you to keep on track. Or what I do, because I like listening to the talking, I'll rewind it when I need to go back. And then we go in through the bottom one. It's handy to use the pokey tool method like that, especially if you've got a patterned piece on the outside. It's hard to see the hole sometimes. Actually, we need to put our beads on, so we'll just go back through there. And I've just caught that material there, so I'm just going to try and go through it. Actually, I'm probably better off just to nick it a little bit with a blade. That's me talking, not putting the beads on. and continuing my normal stitching. There we go, just nicked it off. Now if we have a look at, we did 5 beads on that one. Let's see how our eyeball measuring goes. Let's get 5 beads on this one. And then we just do a quick measure. So you don't need any beading tools for this, which is great. You just need a bit of thread. You can just use plain cotton if you want to. Put the pokey tool back through, just so you can see, yep, that's going to line up beautifully. Yeah, so just a bit of cotton, bit of beads. You can buy beads from the cheap shop. I'm using semi-precious gemstones here because I make jewelry, so I've got a lot of beads on hand anyway, but you can use acrylic beads, plastic beads, whatever you can get your hands on. Little glass beads are beautiful. And then, as we normally would do, we tie a knot in the middle to secure our cord. Some people leave the tail ends down like that, and we'll put beads on the end too. We can do that, as you can see that, but I didn't do that with my other one, so I'm going to cut these off. So we've got some beautiful beads on the outside, and you can nick that down if you want. I actually like them floating like that. And then I'm going to sew some up the top as well, because I want to have a dangle. I might go a bit further up. So I might have 2 dangles coming off this one. So what I'll do is I'll thread some beads first, and you can put charms on these, little words. You don't have to put anything off the end. You can just tie a knot and leave the beads as is. You can make them as long or as short as you like. So that'll give you an indication on how long that is. Now I'm going to take the cord out of the needle, and then I'm going to tie a charm to the end. So I'll use the same charm as I did with the other one. They're little Tree of Life charms, and they've got a pattern either side, so I don't have to worry about front and back on them. But if you're using a charm that's got a definite front or a definite back, then that's something you'll have to be mindful of. So straight up there, we want to tie it off. We can pull the cord through because we're doing the other side, so don't be too worried about this side of things. And then I'm just going to cut that off. So I just did a standard knot. And then the next one we might have just a bit shorter, so I'm going to put the cord through the bead needle again. And they're sharp both ends, so just be careful if you're using a beading needle. And this one I might just do 4 beads. You can see it's going to hang to there. And then you can take the cord out of that beading needle, and then we're going to tie this last charm on. So this one's a little bit more tricky because we want to keep the tension on the strand of beads and secure it off. So that's knot number 1. Knot number 2 is a lot easier because we've already got the tension on it. And knot number 2, and then I will just cut that off. So you can see it adds a little bit of just an extra dangle to it. Now the front, the last one, I put some lace across there, but what am I thinking? I'm thinking probably some flowers. They've got like a denim-y look to them. They're actually hydrangea flowers. Don't want them too green. Let's see if I've got some more creamy ones. You just got to play a little bit with them. Yeah, I think we'll go to the magic odd number, the 3, because we're going to add some other things to it. So if I make that a straight edge, and take it over. Now I need to just mark it there and there to cut that to a straight edge as well. And that will form like our lace, but it's actually, I've used a border punch on that one and left the top. And I've got a drawer full of, I'll use my other bottle. Just got a drawer full of cut-offs and that I use like this. Just trying to figure out what was the front and what was the back. And they just add a little bit of texture when you're layering your stuff. Now you don't have to put anything on the front of these. I actually like them decorated a little bit. And we've got the word certified, which, let me cut it. I'm not sure whether I'm going to use it. Just put in there for the minute. Yeah, I do have another idea. I've got a stamp on a block which says just breathe. So let me stamp on some craft cardstock and then we'll have a look at both of them. Sometimes you just got to play around a little bit, especially if you're using words. I feel not everything matches what you're doing. Now this is just off a cheap stamp set I got on, I think, AliExpress, and I think my search for them that day was journal words or word stamps. So it's beautiful. I'll cut straight edge first. And it's good to play around with different searches on those sites because they have so much. I don't know how good their search engines are, so sometimes, you know, you've got to search clear stamps, or in this case it was word stamps or journal words. I'm just eyeballing to get that pretty close. Keep these types of things because you can always stamp something on there, or they can act like this piece, just an extra piece in when you're layering stuff. Never throw anything out. I mean, you do get to a point where you've got to throw some things out, but you know, handy things like that are something a little bit different, and you could just stamp a background stamp on that and have a bit of a pattern on it. You could emboss it, put some gold or some white on there and emboss it. Now I'm just going to get my walnut stain out because I think ground espresso might be a bit dark. So they're the main two that I use, which is ground espresso or walnut stain to distress. And I love working with this craft cardstock because it gives it, when you distress it, gives it like a suede look, really. You can go a bit heavier on the edge because we've got that nice cut edge. Lovely. Pop him off to the side. Now let's have a look. Yeah, lovely. So I'm just going to bring him just under that straight edge there. It still gives us a little bit of the decorative border down there, and then we can work our flowers around that, because I don't really want to cut any more off. I like a fair, you know, a bit of a border, and because it's angled, it's quite near it anyway. Okay, so let's Stick our flowers down. Now I'm using fabric glue on this one, and I'm just doing the center because I want to leave the petals quite free, but that's up to you if you think they're going to get crumbled. Then definitely glue them all down. So yeah, these are hydrangea flowers, and they come, I bought a few different colors, but the one head has a lot of variety on it, which you get all the different tones. So I bought clear tones, there was pink tones, and there was blue-green tones. And a head like this just gives you so many flowers. I've got a feeling maybe I need another one down there. Yeah, give it like a little bit of a zigzaggy type look. I am going to put a bit of bling as the center of these as well, which I have these diamantes, and you'll get these from, you know, your $2 shop. See if I can just peel them. I have got them cut individually. Actually, what I might do, just because usually the sticking of these isn't that great, I might just put a small dollop of glue in the center just so it secures it really well. If you want a different color of these and you've got alcohol markers, you just color them in. So I've cut strips here because they're all sort of joined across, just to make it easy when I'm using them. But I'll show you what I mean. These ones here, I'll just use alcohol ink to color those. They were all this color. Same with those ones, just so you've got some variety of colors when you go to do centers on flowers. That's a trick I learnt in my card making days. Now, you know, you can add some leaves and that out of there. I actually like just the flowers. We can take the pegs off now because we've got the pages secured in there. But that's just another take on a little denim journal notebook. So if you wanted it to be more of a junk journal, you could have all your different pages in there and have it thicker. You could sew in more than one signature and have your binding wider, but I just wanted something just really cute and simple like that. As you can see, absolutely beautiful. I really love the flower one, so I'll be doing obviously more with flowers down the track. So let's just grab a couple of my other little ones and I'll show you what I did. So I've got a heap just thrown in a basket like this. Some I've already glued the cover to like that, and these are my scrap pages that I pulled out of my stash. So that's an old Peter Rabbit book. There's a ledger there. Just be mindful if that some stuff with writing on it needs to go up the right way. We might show that one in there. You don't have to have them all the same size. You can use a couple with smaller sizes, some patterned paper. Depending on how thick you want them, and then you can, when you've got your pages, you can then just decorate them. So what have we got? We're doing 2 here. Need to take one of these bigger pages, so I've used all the biggish pages in this one. And by having all different pages, that'll give you, you know, just some different points of interest in there as well. And let's do a grid one in the middle of that one. All right, so let's sew these in. So that's just material, and I've put it on craft cardstock because I like to have a little bit of body in my covers. See, a little bit of body. A couple of these page edges aren't overly straight because they are scraps, so I'm just going to neaten them up. You could get a tear ruler. Being junk journals, we don't want them too precise. That one I might straighten up, given they're the outer pages. Okay, so let's sew this signature in. I'll do another video, guys, working through these little mini journals as well. But today it's just about just sewing them in. And I'm going to move from my beading tool to my bookbinder needle. So you can see they're much thicker, so they wouldn't go through a bead at all. You can still use the same cord, which I will because I've got it on my desk somewhere. There it is. The beads out of the way. So this is a great way to use your scraps up. So I don't want, I'm just going to neaten that one page up because we don't want it hanging out of our cover. So make sure you place them where you want, whether you want them in the middle, you want it to the top, to the bottom. When you're using all different size pages like that, and then you don't want it hanging out of the top of your journal either. And then just clip it in place. And then I will, even though it's small, I will still do the 3-hole pamphlet stitch. You could theoretically do 2. You could even staple it if you've got a commercial stapler or a long reach stapler and it's not too thick. So through the middle, through the top. It's much quicker with a sturdy needle like this than the flimsy beading needle. And then you just pull them firmly. These are so simple and so quick to make. You will use them a lot. I even put them in bigger journals because you know it's all extra journaling space, never goes astray. And like the other ones that we made earlier, I've glued that and I've used the pinking shears around, but if you wanted to fold it over like we cover our journals other ways and then, you know, put a bit of pattern paper down, you can do that. But I like the simplicity of these. I will be decorating those at a later date, but we just want to get a couple together today, and I don't want to make the signatures too thick on these either. This one's got a fair bit in it. You can see one's upside down, so just be, like I said, just be mindful of that. Check all your pages. And whether you want them up or down, I'm going to put that one down. And then we're going to clip it. Now this one's plain cardstock on the outside, so I'll either, you know, put some stickers on it, or I might even stamp a heap of images on it. I haven't decided yet, but I'm just going to definitely just finish off the sewing of the signature. Now this one is a little bit thicker, so just be mindful when you are using the awl. And it's hard to push through like that. I usually put it down and push it through that way. You can get a book and open it and push it down through the spine, is another, probably a more safer way to do it. So once again, through the middle, through the top, back through the middle, up through the top. And like the first couple I made, you don't have to have all your different scrap pages in here. You can just have all straight coffee dye if you want to do more of a notebook style. Little, you know, one with heaps of journaling. But with these ones here, they've got heaps of journaling spaces in them anyway, and you'll want to decorate them. You might want to put some pockets and some tucks in there, some belly bands, which, like I said, I'll do in a later video. Another video, I'll work through a couple of these. And just cut the ends off. You can leave the ends long if you wish, entirely up to you, but that's another one there. What else have we got? We've got a couple of little cuties here. This is beautiful. It's quite thick material, tapestry, and I've only put it on, I've glued it, the corner's coming off of there, but you can see I've glued it just to some scrapbook paper. So if you don't have the heavy body cardstock and your material has a bit of body to it like this one, then you can definitely just glue it down to your pattern cardstock. And it's a good way to use up your cardstock. You know, when you buy a pack and you don't love every single piece that you get in there, and you're left with these pages you absolutely hate, don't throw them out, because you can use them in this. So yeah, just make sure all your pages are in and all up the right way. Hold it in place with your pins, because that helps by using your bulldog clips like that. That holds it in place, so when you pierce your holes, they're easier to line up when you go to sew them in. That one off to the side, because I think I might want to do some bead work on that one. I just love this material so much. Now, I always lose my needle on my desk, which I'll find later. That's why I've got this little container with a few in there. So if I get, oh, they got one more in there. I'll have to find them when I clean up my desk and put them all back in there. This is relaxing too, guys. So the day I put these together, or started these, I just pulled out I've got a massive drawer of, there's my other needle, massive drawer of just scraps, you know, your scrap bits of paper. So I just pulled them out and just started folding them like that. And I ended up with all different size pieces, which I'll show you, like all different sizes. So I then grouped them in all different sizes, and I had scrap bits of the craft, so I folded them as well. And as you can see, you ended up with all different size journals. But I love that aspect, because you just don't know what projects you're going to, here's another one, use them in. So that was how I sort of grouped everything together. So if you and these little pieces, I wanted some contrast, so I threw, you know, I threw some of them in the middle of the bigger ones like that. So you've got a little bit of different contrast throughout. And then if I had a lot of these left over, then you could do a mini one like that as well. So that's sort of how I come to having all of these like this. Love that one. I'll sew that one in the middle in a minute. And then I thought, oh, another day I can just sit down and just sew them all together. And this is one of those cases where you can't quite see the hole, because it's like a velour type of material, thick upholstery material. There it is. Good. And a lot of these I just went to, you know, a material shop. They have bins, and if they don't have bins, a lot of the time you only need small pieces anyway, so it's quite inexpensive. You know, they might be $15 a metre, but you're not going to buy a metre unless you absolutely love it and you're going to be making lots of stuff with it, because they're really, really wide pieces. Some of them are nearly as wide as a curtain. So you only need basically 1/4 of a metre is going to get you a few journals covered, and then you'll have a lot of little scraps left over to make little mini projects like this. Sometimes I like to double knot it, but you don't want it coming undone, especially if you're going to go to all the trouble of decorating the front. And if you wanted, because we didn't bead that, if you wanted to add some beads in that, you just simply sew through the material. Like a needle and thread will catch that. But that is gorgeous. And these amazonite beads that I used before will match that beautifully. Because I could even sew them along there and have just a strip around there. So there's lots you can do. All right, so we might just do this last one because I love it. Looks like I've already done the holes. I wonder how well they're going to line up. Oh yeah, still relatively in place, so I might pin it. Oh, I got it like this. So that's another little take on denim. So I had some strip binding that had the fray on it, so I've used that over the binder just to give it that book look. So think about your scraps that way as well. I'll show you another one when I finish this one. I'll show you another one I've got started just to give you an idea. I'll finish it off in another video, but it's pretty well nearly all put together, all bar the sewing side of things. But it's just another concept on a mini journal for you. This one's beautiful. I'll definitely be decorating this one and working on the inside, which I'll do a video on this one. Okay, so you can see that all method's definitely a good one. It gets you out of a bind when you can't line the holes up properly, or you've lost them in the material. If you don't have material, guys, like I said, just use your you know, your colored paper, patterned cardstock. If you want to get it, the covers thicker, stick a couple of pieces of cardstock together. My fingers have got a little bit of glue on them, so I'm feeling like I'm all fingers at the moment because things are sticking to it. That's that one. So, you know, you can put a pocket inside, you can put a pocket across there, flip outs, tucks, mini envelopes, which we will do. We'll work on, there's a lot of journaling space in this one. It's a little bit thicker than my other ones. So, you know, your half. So don't throw your scraps out because you can see that they all come together beautifully in this type of using these mini ones. But this one here I've started, and I'm going to put like a tie closure on it, and it's going to be, and I've only done just cardstock for the signatures, which you can do, and I might even, depending, mix it up a bit with coffee dyed paper, but I want to keep them plain because I want this purely for writing on. So what I've done here is I've folded a bit of cardstock, but then I've glued a strip because I wanted a more rounded and signature of it. And when I put the two signatures in there, it will give me a little bit of width because it will become a little bit fat. So there'll be a bit of give. I think that's about 1.5 inches, a bit of give in the spine there. And I'll be sewing those in. So I may even, given that, you know, we've got that beautiful cardstock I've used, I may even do a false spine. So I haven't decided yet, but that's the concept of it. And then they'll be tying it together. So I've folded the cardstock over. Now this is a 49er market, so it is quite a thick cardstock too. So, you know, your cover's quite thick. So I've folded a piece over and then I've punched a hole in, and I've done that both ways. But when I go to put this together and decorate it, I'll do another video on it and I'll put all the measurements and that in there. But you know, that's the spine there. It's quite thick because there's a few layers, because I've put one in the middle and one on the outside, so you get quite like a book, a binded book type scenario in that one. But lots of different things you can do. I'll show you all the other ones. I'm yet to stitch the signatures in, which I will do, but I'm not going to do on camera today. You certainly don't want to see the same step over and over again, but I just wanted to put a couple together just to show you the 3-hole pamphlet stitch. So easy. What you can do with your scraps, definitely. This is not so much using my scraps, although the material is, but you know, your coffee dyed paper, just to have a little journal. You can put little pockets in there, or tucks, or even more notebooks. Same with this one here. It's got your coffee dyed paper in that as well. But thanks for stopping by today, guys. Sorry I hadn't done a video for a few weeks. I'm getting back into the swing, given it's a new year, so I'm hoping at this stage to upload one at least once a week. At this stage I will try for more down the track, but thanks for stopping by, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thanks guys, bye.